Hello and welcome back to the first FPL show of the new year. Happy New Year, everyone who's watching. We are on the Gallowgateshots YouTube channel. And how was your Christmas and New Year, Dan?
I'm Daniel. You didn't even introduce yourself, Matt. This is Matt.
I'm Matt. I haven't forgot my name.
Just in case you haven't been watching. Just in case
taking
new year.
New Year, new me to a whole new level. change my name.
So I've had a good one. I went out last night with my dad for a few. Had some food. Then went to Colonel Porter's. Saw the New Year there. It's very nice. And now I'm going to Cramlington for my normal New Year's Day tradition of getting drunk with my mates in a pub, and then going back to one of theirs for a house party. So
nice, very nice.
I'm ready from the waist up, Matt. I'm ready from the waist up.
Nice, me too. But I'm not going anywhere today. I'm just staying like this all day. I was just saying before we recorded, like your New Year sounds a little bit more hardcore than mine. Having a child, like I was in bed before midnight, curled up in a ball after like having to play board games and think like child's games like for like the whole week.
Sounds like my ideal week, that. I love a board game. You playing Frustration? I feel like that's a game that all kids play. Frustration.
We got that, yeah. That was one of the presents that we got. So, but when you play it like 5 times in a row, and the child's been on at a constant level for the whole, like ever since about Christmas Eve or the day before, like it's just been like up here the whole time.
Yeah,
and obviously you can't maintain that.
You'll have PTSD from the sound of the clicking. You're like shell shock from veterans come back in the era bang. What is that? You with that click? What is that click?
Yeah.
It's just the frustration dice, mate. It's okay. You're in a safe space.
Fear the dice. Right. Before we get started, mate, we will just make sure everyone has clicked the button that makes everyone subscribe to the channel. We will make sure that everybody has pressed that little like button at the bottom and put a little comment in there. Maybe wish us Happy New Year. We've done it to you. So, I mean, it's just common courtesy to leave a comment as well if you've watched.
Don't be rude.
Don't be ignorant. Don't be ignorant. And tell your friends. We're still here. We're going to keep doing it every week. So, yeah. Tell everyone how shit we are, and these guys think they know what they're talking about. Look at them.
Matthew, no one else needs to tell anyone how shit we are. We're going to do that ourselves.
I know. I mean, that's a lovely segue. So we'll start off just by quickly recapping how Gameweek 18 is going on. We are recording on New Year's Day. So we've still got 2 games left. I think it's Spurs versus... Who have Spurs got today? Spurs are playing... Someone who which clearly doesn't matter. And we've also got Chelsea versus someone as well.
Nah, Spurs are playing Villa and Chelsea are playing Nottingham Forest.
Right, so we've got those 2 fixtures still to play. So obviously we don't really know exactly where we've fallen in terms of rank. At this point, we can only know where we are sitting currently. So I'll go first because I want to hear about how shit your week's been. It's a nice little change of pace. So I got 54 points this week. I got a nice sort of slightly above average 87 points in game week 17. So there was loads of 100-point scores flying around, but I feel like they were all above me anyway. My kind of main idea was to get out of the 4.4 million rank that I was in and hopefully catch up to those dead teams who are probably still ahead of me. So I'm glad I've done that. I'm actually... was 4.4 million, but I'm now crawled all the way up to 3.7 million, those dizzying heights. So I've made up about 700,000 places in these last 2 weeks so far. I've still got Kepa and Sterling to play, but I don't have Harry Kane, so I need to hope Harry Kane stays quiet because he's quite high owned still, about 30%. So I have had Botman 6, I've had Trippier's 8, even though he was absolutely wank. Shaw got 9. KDB got 1. Had Foden. I'm going to have to start thinking about what to do with him. Foden's 1-pointer again. Rashford's got 5. Martinelli's 10. Haaland's captaincy got me 12. Martial got me 2. A bit frustrating, actually, because I was hoping for more from him. And I'm kind of a little bit worried because I've got Gabriel sat first sub on 0. So I need to hope Sterling plays. Or else I'm going to get 0 from Gabriel. Yeah, he will, which is why I went with him over like Havertz and Mount. I kind of felt like Sterling offered a bit more threat. and was more nailed than Havertz, which has kind of backfired slightly because Havertz
Both
went
of them scored
absolutely
last week.
mental. Yeah, both of them scored, so that was poor. But I mean, Sterling got me 6, I think, the week before, which was nice. How have you done?
So I've got 87 points as well for the previous week.
No way.
Yeah,
We got
both
exactly
got
the same.
87.
We didn't have the same team.
No.
No.
And I'm currently on 38 points with Dunk to come off my bench with 3. He's got 3 points. I don't mind that at all.
That's all right. That's tasty.
How did he get 3 points? Did he get an assist or something? Yeah, he got an assist. Conceded 4.
Fuck, really?
Got an assist. All right.
I've got Dunk. I've got Dunk, I think, second sub behind Gabriel.
I've got Dunk second sub, but Trossard's first, and it's Kyle Walker that didn't play.
Fair easies. I like that.
So Dunk has to come in. I've got Ben White as my last sub, so I've got a bit of luck there. Where I haven't had any luck is the wild card changes that I made. I took a risk, a very last minute risk with 2 players that couldn't have went any worse. So I took out Martin Odegaard and Gabriel Martinelli and brought in Wilfred Zaha and Leandro Trossard.
The amount of value you've lost there as well, and the fact that the value lost, and Trossard had a couple of price drops, so he's now like 6.9, wasn't he? He was 6.9 now, isn't he? Same price as Rashford. He dropped again today, yeah. Oh my god.
I didn't realise that. Thanks, Matt. Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
So basically, long and short of it is whatever I say, do the opposite. That's today's lesson. That's New Year's lesson for everyone listening to this show. If I do something, do the polar opposite. Yeah. I just saw the fixtures and thought they aren't easy fixtures. Brighton, Newcastle. Who they got next? They don't have someone else easy next week either, I don't think.
Who, Arsenal? Or
after Newcastle.
I don't.
Or Spurs. Sure. They've got a North London derby, and then they've got Man United. I just thought, I'm not going to want these until February when I'll want them both. Punish me dearly. But yeah, in terms of points, not that anyone gives a crap. Trippier for 8, Rashford got 5, Zaha got 3, Che Adams with an assist getting us 5, Haaland got 6, double to 12. Honestly, I've got Aritz Balaga in Cucurella at the place, so I brought in Cucurella as my James transfer.
Nice. Well done.
I just thought, go like for like, try not to overcomplicate it. That being said, everyone that got Botman got the clean sheet, so bit jealous there. But Cucurella has a double next week, unlike Botman, who has Arsenal.
Yeah.
So there was a little bit of longevity in that. I appreciate Chelsea's double is against Man City and Fulham, and Man City probably will score, and Fulham with the likes of Andreas and Mitrovic might as well. But it's just one of them, isn't it? Just have to see how it goes.
Yeah. So it's talking about Chelsea and Fulham. We'll mention the doubles. We did do an episode last week where we talked about whether the doubles were going to be a trap, what teams to avoid potentially. But we have now landed on the first double game week, which is Chelsea and Fulham. Chelsea have Man City at home and Fulham away. Fulham have Leicester away and Chelsea at home. So we'll talk about Chelsea first, with 10 points for Mount in game week 17. Obviously, they haven't played this week yet. Kepa got, I think it was 9. Was it 9 points Kepa got? So Kepa got 9 last week.
Yeah.
12 from Havertz and 6 from Sterling. We talked about how much value was potentially in that Chelsea team coming into these groups of fixtures. Surely that still stays the same, because it's not just not just 1 week. This is going to be consistent now, do you think?
Yeah, it's obviously really tough to figure out what's going on with the Chelsea assets. It was just 1 game. I don't think we can draw any conclusions for consistency. And they're a team that not only are wildly inconsistent themselves as a unit, Potter is really inconsistent with his team selection. That being said, they've got so many injuries at the back that we might actually see a bit of consistency because he's got no choice.
Yeah.
going forward, I think we can maybe expect something a little bit better, and maybe they are the better choice to go for. But for the prices and the positions, like Havertz being a forward, I'm not that interested. Probably not. And then you've got things like the double itself, Man City and Fulham. These should be games where you think, you know what, Chelsea can go in and keep a clean sheet against Man City. They have done in the past, but you don't really fancy that right now at all.
No.
And then Fulham, why should Fulham away ever be an issue for Chelsea? Historically, it's just absolutely not. Fulham have been whipping boys. It's a local derby, and Chelsea normally do a number on them. But Fulham have got the potential to score goals. We've seen Andres, we've seen Mitrovic. They're a really good team. They're a well-organised team. They've got goals in them. And I don't really care about who wins. It's about getting points.
Especially at home as well, might add.
Yeah, Fulham are at home, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
So it's just really, really tough. And I've found this season anyway, it's been quite difficult to predict certain outcomes.
You're telling me, mate, you're not sat just inside the top 4 million.
Yes. I'll be lucky if I'm sat inside the top 2 after this week, though. So yeah, it's not a case of who do I think is going to win or lose or anything like that. It's just trying to predict how Chelsea's going to play, whether the players actually play or not, and then whether they concede. They're just a nightmare, and I really do have them for a finite period of time. If I'm being honest, I'm just having a look at the fixtures that they've got. Because they've got the double, then they've got Palace at home, which I like, because Palace have been dreadful. Liverpool away, I think when it comes to Gameweek 21, you want to be getting rid. But also at that time, it's probably the time, if you don't have Arsenal players, you probably want Arsenal players.
And I think Man United are doubling around about then as well. There's a good chance. It's not like an official double yet, but I think Man United, there's a strong chance they double around Gameweek 23.
Yeah.
So you want to start looking at how to get to them if you're not already on them. As well as I think there's Chelsea and Arsenal, Man City and Arsenal. But like I've seen with Foden, there's no chance that you're going to be able to guess when he plays or whether he plays both. Because it just doesn't look like he plays Premier League football anymore.
Him,
like it looks like
Walker have just been completely frozen out after the World Cup.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Laporte's not been playing as well either.
Yeah, the thing is, I can see that. I can see why, because Akanji and Ake have been mint. Like Ake has been low key brilliant for them. When you watch, I mean, you're not impressed.
He's been better than what he's been in the past, but it's not to say that Laporte couldn't have been good in those games. It's not like they kept a clean sheet in the first one.
Yeah, true.
I don't know.
For me, and I think so. For me, like coming back to Chelsea, I think if you've got one defender, if you've got Kepa, or get one of the centre backs, I think Koulibaly's probably the safest bet. You probably want a defender, for the double, but I'm sitting there with triple Chelsea now. Like that's a spoiler alert. I've got Kepa and I've got Sterling. I've also brought in another midfielder from Chelsea just to try and. I think Chelsea are going to attack more in these two fixtures. I don't think they're going to keep a clean sheet in either game. I think they're going to try and take the game to Man City, especially at home.
Yeah.
And Man City have been leaking goals anyway. I think they'll be a little bit edgy because they've already dropped points. And they'll try and, as City do, try and go and blow teams away after dropping points. I think they'll leave themselves open a little bit. So my pick from Chelsea would probably be Mason Mount, just because of the fact that Zakaria and Kovacic/Jorginho are going to be the ones sitting. And looking at the team on paper, it looks like Mount's the one who's able to get further forward, make things happen, get into the box. And to be honest, he's probably the one who I would turn around and say has the highest chance of playing both those fixtures. So he's an easy way into the Chelsea team, still quite cheap at 7.5. Because I feel like I've got quite a lot of value not tied up, but I've wasted a lot of value on Sterling at like 9 million. This is just another way of getting into that Chelsea midfield.
Yeah.
Anyone from Fulham quickly, just because
Andres Pereira, 100%.
Yeah, and Mitrovic. There's nothing really more to say on that, is there?
Yeah, I mean, Andreas Pereira's point tallies in recent weeks has just been absolutely ridiculous.
He's just been a steady Eddie, hasn't he? Which is not normally good for like a double game week.
Especially for
those,
still 4.6 million, but I mean,
yeah,
what's he had in the last, I don't know, just pick a game week 10 for argument's sake. What we got here, game week 10, 6, 5, 3, 10, 3, 6, 2, 3, 5.
And those of you who are good at maths, if he gets 2 points in one game and then 3 points in another game in the same game week, that's 5 points, which is not bad for a. I know, hey,
Matthew Vorderman.
oh yes, so he's that's great value for what, a 4.6 million midfielder. If you're going to start him, you'd be happy with that. Like, I'm not going to have him, and I'm a little bit worried because I feel like his ownership's going to be canny mental. And I've got to hope that my kind of Chelsea double up or like outperforms a 4.6 million midfielder playing for Fulham.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
With these fixtures as well, I think you've got to play them.
Yeah, absolutely.
What are his fixtures coming up? I can't even see his fixtures.
I mean, while you're doing that, I'm just going to say, some people are talking about captaining the guy, which is actually ludicrous. Ludicrous.
Leicester, Chelsea. I suppose it's a double. Newcastle. Oh, actually, you know what? Newcastle, Tottenham, Chelsea again aren't great fixtures. Then Nottingham Forest and Brighton. So I don't know. Like, I think out of that lot, you've got Leicester.
Yeah.
Could do something against Chelsea, maybe. Could do something against the Spurs aren't great, are they? I think against us, yeah, you know, going forward, the fixtures don't look great, but I think when you think about it and how the teams are playing this season, I think Fulham assets are just as good as any, to be honest. Tell you who does look like they'd be good to bring in. Rodrigo of Leeds. And I know people were slating Leeds yesterday. I don't think they played badly in the first half at all, but I think we've got to remember they were playing third in the league, a team that have been beaten at Anfield thanks to a 98th minute winner. Like, they were playing against a really good team, and equally a lot of people were saying that we were shit yesterday, and it's like, I'm sorry, I can't abide by that at all. Like,
we battered them in the second half,
and we missed some sitters and whatever else. But like, what was shit was when we got beat 5-2 off Leeds under Steve Bruce. That was shit. That was shit.
Don't talk about them days. Don't.
But what we saw yesterday was we can't win every game, and if we win 1-0, we're brilliant. So I think we all need to get back to a level where Leeds weren't this terrible team. They were a bottom half team that were playing against third in the league.
Mm-hmm.
And the team that were third in the league got a home draw. Like, it is what it is. It's nothing spectacular. It's nothing disastrous. But when you look at Leeds fixtures coming up, they've got West Ham at home. West Ham are terrible. They've got Villa away. Who knows what Villa's going to do? But Brentford at home. I know Brentford aren't very good away. They are good at home, but because they're at Ellen Road. Then got Nottingham Forest, Man United, which is tough, and then Everton.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Like,
it's interesting.
Really good run of fixtures. Marino's in midfield. Rodrigo, I think that's his name, is it? Rodrigo Marino. He's midfielder on the game, but he plays up front for them. I think he played on the right wing against us, but I've got a feeling that was because it was us. I think if they played another game, one of these, I think you just go back up front, to be honest. And then obviously they've got is it? I've forgotten the lad's name. Is it Somerville? Is that the?
Yeah, Somerville.
He was in a really good run of form before the break. Your man Strike, I think's been low key very good for them, but there are a few players there. Yeah, Somerville. Before the break he got 6-7, 13-7, 0 against Man City. Obviously only played 20 minutes against us. So if he comes back into the team at 4.4 million, he's better than Andreas Pereira. Scores that he's getting.
Yeah, I would agree. So I mean,
is your fifth midfielder. That's someone to go for if you didn't want to go for Andreas.
Yeah, I think it's funny at this point, with one transfer a week, obviously give or take whether you roll one, do you want to be wasting transfers looking at that spot? Do you like you've got to be in quite a luxurious position to think, actually, I'm going to use my transfer on my 4.5 million, 4.6 million, like fifth mid spot?
I don't have anyone in that position at the minute. I gambled on I wanted to play a 3-5-2 or a 3-4-3 every week.
Right, yeah.
So at the minute, my midfield is Rashford, Trossard, Salah, Zaha, and Foden. Foden's not playing.
Yeah.
Trossard and Zaha aren't doing anything at the minute. I'm living on Salah and Rashford at the minute. And I'd be looking probably to get rid of one of them at least. And I think the smartest idea would be, especially when Man United get those tough fixtures, to make a double transfer, sorry. So I think I'm going to roll this week because my team's fine. Drop Zaha down to someone like Somerville, and then I can upgrade Martial up front.
Nice.
To a Mitrovic, to an Ivan Toney, saying that I would have got Ivan Toney in, but I thought that he wouldn't be allowed to play, or that his betting ban might have happened sooner.
Yep.
And he's punishing everyone.
He looks like somebody who knows. It's like have a bit of a dark turn here, but it's like when somebody finds out they've not got long left to live and they try and like live out their best days. It's like that he knows that some sort of ban's coming, so he's like trying to make up for it now by scoring all of the goals that he would have scored throughout the season, like right now.
Yeah.
Probably a really poor and dark analogy for the first day of the year, but it happened.
Look, I think everyone's just happy not talking about paedophilia, bukkake, or anything like that.
I mean, you've talked about it now. You've brought that up. But hey ho, right. So moving swiftly on. We've mentioned transfers already, then, so we can dive straight into it. I've already done my transfer, like I said. I have went from Foden to Mount. I just can't be chewed with Foden anymore. Like, I know for a fact he's everyone should bring him in now because I've sold him. He's going to start scoring. It's just the way FPL works. Like, I've had enough of him. It's too much of a headache to sit and having your team looking at it thinking, ooh, that could be like a 10-pointer or like a 1-pointer. Like, can't be chewed. There's better points to be had elsewhere who are going to be more solid minutes and more solid points. So yeah, he's gone. Keeping Kev though, because I think Kev's like a good premium to have, even though he's been absolute dross since the restart, typically. Man United have Bournemouth at home. Now, if you don't have any, well, at least one Man United attacker, they are coming to the end of that lovely like 3-game fixture swing that they had. They're going to have Man City and then Arsenal after this. But for a 1-week punt, if you've got that transfer spare and you don't have any Man United attackers, I think this week's probably a good week to get them.
Thing is, though, Bournemouth will do that thing where they purposely try and stop the opposition from scoring. It's shocking.
Outrageous.
Who the hell do you think they are? But yeah, when they go away from home against, like they did it with us twice, one in the cup, one in the league. They've done it elsewhere where they're actually quite good at it. They'll just sit everyone back behind the ball. Dominic Solanke plays holding midfield.
That's upsetting me as somebody who has Rashford and Martial.
I have them both as well, Matt.
Yeah, that's a slight concern for me.
What I'm saying is, it's not that if you've got them, great. If you want to bring them in, great. It's where I'm thinking of is who am I captaining this week?
Yeah.
Because Haaland has Chelsea away, and that's it. Do I captain one of the doublers?
Yeah.
Do you captain Lewis Dunk away to Everton? Because it's Everton. Do you captain Trossard? Do I captain Salah? But that's away at Brentford, and Brentford are good at home. Lots to consider.
In my humble opinion, right, you can't have a double game week player and not captain them, just because of the odds are in your favor. Like, there's another bite of the cherry. Like, unless, like, especially this week when Haaland's got Chelsea, it like opens up the realms of possibility a lot more. I think there's going to be a lot more punts this week on somebody else, especially with a double. like I say, I mean, talking about transfers, right, and fixtures, right? So fixtures are king, obviously. Aston Villa next three, Wolves at home, Leeds at home, and then Southampton away. And Aston Villa are a team at the minute where those teams aren't going to sit back and try and frustrate them because in their eyes they're a beatable team. So I think it's just who to get from Aston Villa because
Danny Ings.
I mean, what about Watkins? Like, there's no guarantee that Watkins or Ings plays and starts. I mean, people. I'm going to just throw it out there. I'm not doing it myself. That Lucas Dean in those fixtures against Wolves who can't score.
2023.
Leeds,
It's 2023. We can't be here again.
It's honestly it's tempting. Obviously, if we didn't have the doubles and things to plan for, and unlimited transfers, he would be somebody who I would be looking at bringing in just for a bit of fun. He's always been a fun pick.
Fun.
Oh, it's torture owning him. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Stabbed. Is that your idea of fun?
Yeah. I like pain. So it's yes. I mean, I was just throwing out there. The fixtures do suggest that Aston Villa could get a clean sheet or two, and Dean used to be good at one point. Why not? Why could he not be good again? Why not?
AJ than getting Lucas Dean ever again.
So just to summarize this section, right? So ideally you want a Chelsea or Fulham player, potentially. Or you might fancy a bit of Man United. Or you could go absolutely mental and get a Leeds attacker or an Aston Villa player, particularly Lucas Dean for jokes. Is that what is this what we're suggesting in this?
Don't do it. Also, can I just say one thing about the Villa? If you are going to get any of them in, you do have to get them in this week because we've got Leicester at home, which is like okay, but after that, the next fixtures are Man City and Arsenal.
Yeah,
and you're not going to want them for that. I don't know beyond that. I don't know if you're like right, I'm going to get them in and I want them in for I don't know 8 weeks. Let's just see what Aston Villa's fixtures are like long term. So you know what? Actually, after that, they've got Everton and Palace. You could definitely bring them in and bench them for Man City and Arsenal.
Yeah,
because it take out Man City and Arsenal. It's Wolves, Leeds, Southampton, Leicester, Everton, and Palace. That's actually pretty tasty, isn't it?
It is.
Do you want to be that person that brings in a player that plays for the Brummy Mackems?
Well, it's something that you've got to do when you're sat 3.7 millionth in the world. You've got to try and make gains where other people are too scared to tread.
Yes.
Because I'm brave like that. So
I think what's a good idea for the Villa thing is see how they play today.
Yeah.
They play right.
Villa.
I'm not crazy, am I? They play.
When did Villa play? They've not already played, have they?
No, they played. Yeah, they played against Southampton. Spurs, sorry.
Of course, man. We said that at the start of the episode as well. Our memories are shocking.
Well, I think we'll see how they play against Spurs today. We'll see how Spurs play. It might be that actually I go for a Fulham player this week and a Villa player next week. And I mean, because I can go Martial to Watkins or Ings. The reason why I like Ings, by the way, because he's on pens.
Yeah.
That's why I like Ings.
Yeah.
And in that mixture, you fancy Villa to get a couple of pens in those games.
Yeah. I don't know whether they get rid of Danny Ings, you know. I fancy like Brentford or somebody to go and try and get him on the cheap.
Because he's a very Ivan Toney, though. They'd probably want to like.
True. Unless I'm guessing they've got a bit of money. They'll probably go somewhere else. But there's every chance that Danny Ings goes. But yeah, that's just pure speculation at this stage.
Yeah.
So captaincy very quickly because we wanted this to be a short episode with it being New Year's Day, and we want you in particular want to go and get absolutely hammered. So Chelsea or Fulham player for captaincy. Haaland against Chelsea, which a lot of people will just have perma captaincy anyway. Salah against Brentford. That's away though. Brentford will be at home for that game, I think. And Rashford / Martial against Bournemouth at home, which you've already said could be a bit of a tricky fixture. What do you think for captaincy?
At the minute, the way that FPL's going, Haaland will be the top scorer this week.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Because people will go for other captaincies. That being said, I think if I really want to try and do something, I should probably captain a Brighton player against Everton.
Oh, really? That's who are you going to captain?
I should captain.
Do you know what though? You're onto something here because Haaland will go big. Trossard, because he's had a couple of price drops, Trossard will go mega when everyone's sold him. Everyone's took their chance on him from the game week 17 wild card. He's not delivered, so everyone's starting to sell him. This is prime Trossard territory again. He does it all the time. So that's not a bad option, actually, against Everton, who, like you say, are absolutely caca.
Trying to see, he's still 21% owned. Like,
is he?
Had so many owners. I think one of his issues has been he's been playing up front, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And he's not suited to that. So I suppose it depends on if he's going to play up front again. I probably don't. I don't know. Yeah. They're really bad, aren't they? Sorry, I'm knocking.
Yeah. So so that moves us on then. So we've talked about captaincy there a little bit. I'm probably going to go for like a Mason Mount pick, unless I get cold feet and go back to Haaland, because that could be a high scorer. All out attack, both ends, but we'll see. I've not made my decision yet, really.
Yeah.
So I've made Foden to Mount this week. We'll talk about what the teams look like going into this next game week. I've done Foden to Mount, so now I've just got the two Man City players. I'm going to have Kepa in goal for the double game week. I'm undecided whether to have Dunk against Everton at home or Gabriel against us. Whoever I want to go for, whoever I don't go for will end up being my first sub. Trippier against Arsenal because I'm scared not to play him. Shaw against Bournemouth. Kevin De Bruyne against Chelsea. Then I've got Rashford against Bournemouth. Sterling and Mount for their double. Martinelli against us. Then I've got Haaland and Martial. It'll probably be Dunk or Gabriel, and then Botman, Greenwood, and Ward on my bench. How about you? What are you looking like?
At the minute, I'll be honest. I'm actually after looking through the fixtures and stuff, I'm half tempted to just take a load from rolling to taking a bunch of hits. At the minute, I have Arrizabalaga and goal with a double. The same with Cucurella. I've got Dunk against Everton and Trips against Arsenal.
Right.
I've got Rashford v Bournemouth, Trossard v Everton, Salah v Brentford. And then the issue is, for my fourth midfield slot, I've got Foden versus Chelsea. Will he play? I reckon he will. I think he'll get the hard fixture. And Zaha versus Tottenham. And it's like, that's the type of fixture that Zaha will bloody score in. Up front, I've got Adams versus Nottingham Forest, Haaland versus Chelsea, and Martial versus Bournemouth.
That's a tasty front three, actually.
Other than Foden on my bench, I've got Ward versus Fulham, useless. White versus Newcastle, I'm not going to play him. And Walker versus Chelsea. I think the smart play would be to play White over Trips, but I'm not going to do it.
I don't think that's a smart play, just based on ownership alone. Like, there's every chance that Trippier scores a free kick. Like we said this last week, he could concede a couple, but get an assist, and we'll lose 2-1. I mean, we're going to win. We're going to win 3-1, but that's by the by.
True. That's by the by.
So your team sounds good, to be fair, this week as well. Hopefully, who have you got left to play this week?
Arrizabalaga and Cucurella, I believe. 2 seconds. Points. I've got Arrizabalaga, Cucurella to come in to play. And I've got Dunk to come in off the bench for Walker. So I'll be on 41 points, which is dot on the average. And I'll have 2 players playing against Nottingham Forest away.
Nice. I've got every faith that you'll sort that out. Like that could go
Brentford
well for you.
all after 6 minutes.
Hope not. Hope not. Right. Joe, quickly play. What's the point?
What is the bloody point?
What is it? Woo!
Woo! Woo! Woo!
Woo!
Woo! Woo!
There we go.
Right, okay, let us get my players up. Right, you ready for this?
Yeah,
Right,
so hang on. So it's 2-2 still, isn't it? Like it has been for months.
yes.
Yeah.
Right, okay then. So, just trying to get this in some kind of alphabetical order. Okay, there's 4 players to choose from. I'm like, right, which 3 do I go for? Okay, so
I mean, I'm pretty sure there's not just 4. You're looking at the wrong thing if there's just 4 players.
no, but there's 4 players that I was like, right, which 4 of these am I going to pick from?
Just joshing. Just joshing.
I'm going for Alisson, Henderson, and Rhea.
What? Is this Henderson Jordan or is this Henderson?
The goalkeeper. I've got 3 goalkeepers. Can you imagine? Just a midfielder in between 2 goalkeepers.
That's what I was trying to think. I was like, what are you doing? So Alisson, Dean Henderson, and who was the other one?
Rhea,
right. Rhea, Henderson, Alisson.
Incorrect.
Oh, man.
Rhea, Alisson, Henderson.
Oh, man. I knew Rhea was first. It was just whether...
Did you? I thought that.
Yeah, I knew. Nah. He's been
also,
like
Henderson would be higher because he saved a bunch of pens. And we concedes loads, but just the amount of pens he saves.
It's just obviously Forrester being poor. I know that Henderson was quite high up at the start of the year, but recently Rhea's been class. But I didn't expect Alisson to be second on that list because
4.6 million, you know.
What? Alisson or Rhea?
Rhea?
Yeah, he's not bad. Not a bad keeper. We can talk about that next week though, because we're already on 42 minutes ish. Yeah, Brentford defence are looking decent. So we'll quickly mention the Gallowgateshots League before we go. Obviously, we're still in the middle of game week 18, so we don't actually know how this is going to land. I mean, I'm fairly confident this is going to stay the same because of the actual lead that the person at the top has. Well done to Ian Malcolm, who is still top. I think he's been top for a while. He is top by 24 points. I can't see that changing. He's got 1,150 points, and he is sat at a very impressive 1.9k overall, which, I mean, that's nosebleed territory, that. So well done, Ian. We'll keep an eye on how that league goes for the rest of the season. Keep you guys all updated. But yeah, I think that's time to go have a drink, isn't it? Well, for one of us. What's your final thoughts going into Gameweek 19?
Set it all on fire.
Yeah. Just go and get hammered. Forget about what FPL is.
Enjoy the football more than anything else, is what I'd say. Well, at this stage, I think it's about, obviously when you start the season, it's, you know, how well can you do? We want to be strong. I think at this point last year, we were both in like 7k, 8k, 9k, 10k areas.
Yes.
So it was a focus. So if you are in that position, definitely, it's obviously all about focus. But for us now, with the what we're at, I just think it's about enjoying the football. I want to be picking.
Agreed.
I actually don't want to be picking players around us in the table anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything. I'm not going to, literally not achieving anything. So I may as well have a bit of fun. Yeah,
I think it was nice to see in the Gallowgateshots Telegram group, the members group, which you can be part of for just, I think it's as low as $2.99 or something. It's very low price. But if you become a member, you get put into that Telegram group. And one of the comments was they didn't used to play FPL that much. They would have given up by now. But because of how well Newcastle are doing, like their interest in football as a whole has like improved. So they're wanting to like take part in like football related games a lot more and like play these things because actually football's fun. It's like what it's for us as fans. This is what football should have felt like for years, but we just haven't had the opportunity. It's just been full of like anxiety and like torture, really. So to have that back and be able to enjoy football as a whole. What was that?
Yeah, I said you probably enjoyed the sea, Bruce. Yes, you're into that sort of shit. That's your sense of enjoyment.
Yeah. I mean, I've loved FPL and like essentially, I the only reason I did well in FPL was for like preying on Newcastle United, like just captain whoever played Newcastle.
Hashtag.
Yeah, Bruce Ball for life. On that note,
Norwich. Oh.
Oh, right. Oh, God. Pray for Norwich City if that happens. I don't think that's the case. I think that was just clickbait, to be fair. But yeah. So hopefully by the time we record our next video, we'll have signed either Tillemans or Maddison in a swap deal for Dubravka, and that with no fee attached. That would be the dream. Don't think that's going to happen. But yeah, obviously that news is just sort of broke about Dubravka coming back. What that means for our transfer business is still to be found out. But hopefully we'll have had a sign-in and have a new FPL option to talk about by the time we record next. But thank you very much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your year. I hope 2023 is a nice one for you. Wish you all the best, and thanks again for listening. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Happy New Year, everyone. Have a great one.